market is freaking moving. And just like that, um, just like that, we are just like that. And we are absolutely screaming. Oil was over $100. It was at 101 and change. We are trading at 90. We are trading right around $91. We were down to 89. News hit literally, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, 13 minutes ago. Apparently, they're in talks now with Iran. Apparently, all weekend. We'll see how things go. Market is literally, surging on the news. Everything is just actually up huge. I mean, everything was getting slaughtered. Well, it wasn't slaughtered. Everything was down pretty big. And now the Dow up 800 points. The ES is up 120. The NASDAQ's up 400 and change. And the Russell is up almost 70. More importantly, crude oil is down to $90 again. So actually getting demolished. And then bonds are even bouncing now up close back to the 113 range again. So there you have it. And, just like that, we'll see how this kind of dials out today. I'm not totally convinced that the worst is over. Obviously, they're going to have to see, true progress on what's going on. I just think it's utterly amazing that just one announcement has completely changed the entire dynamic of the market today. It looked like it was going to be another drowsy, miserable day. And, and all of a sudden now we are completely turned around. But what I think is actually very interesting, though, and as I look at crude oil here, we are slowly now starting to creep back up into this range that we've been in for over a month now, almost all month. Since back in, March 11th. So, so we are still in this, and we are actually trading back up into it. I think we went down as far as, wow, there was like a collapse. We went down as far as 84. I'm going to look at this candle. The low on that candle was 84.37. Wow. I mean, talk about I got to mark that. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, so this is kind of the swing that we've gotten. Things are backing off a little bit here. I think, initially, I mean, it is kind of amazing, though, to me, that if you don't think algorithmic trading is not following social media, all the things that you would think that they're not following, they are. And it's pretty crazy, in my opinion, and it really just goes to show how the markets are so impacted by what happens on social media and the news, and not so much of like real type of events, earnings and things that you would think, the economy. It's kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts. But this is where we have come to. But yeah, 84.37 on crude. So high as 100, and what's the high on this candle? I just want to mark this out. The high on that candle was 101.67. So from 101.67 to 84.37. It's just absolutely incredible. Incredible. $101.67. And as we trade back up into this range. So that's what's going on today. I'm expecting it to be another pretty fueled headline risk sort of market today. I don't think that's going to change, obviously, from what's happened. ES could not get past R3. I do like 67.72s. But just be aware, it's going to be very difficult. Very difficult to trade here today on especially levels when you have this enormous amount of headline risk going on, like literally anything that comes out at this point related to the war and how things are going to roll out is going to impact stock prices, significantly. And, you might be trading a level and then something comes out, and, just be aware that, these are the type of markets where you just use a tight stop. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. But there does need to be, as I mentioned before, too, like this is the ES. We have been stair-stepping down and creating a very bearish picture. Here's a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now, a lot of it could be attributed to the war. And we are coming off all-time highs as well. Is this the catalyst to kind of get us out of this funk? I don't know. We'll see. It's slowly starting to, I'm starting to see things slowly start to kind of dissipate here. So I don't know if this is kind of a fake out. I have to believe most of the market was short going into this. But then again, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, you want to talk about levels today? It's going to be rough. Like I don't even know if I really even want to mark anything today because I just don't think. I just not sure it's really going to matter because it does not seem like you had a real hard level here at 66.99.50 and we blew right through it, right? And we blew through it on news. So, where are we at? And right now, we're kind of in this area here where there was a lot of selling last time. And whether or not we hold here or not, I have no idea what's going to happen. I just wouldn't feel confident taking any trades in here because, again, who knows what's going to happen and what's going to be said. But the market seems to be digesting this fairly negatively at this point because, again, we did have this huge rally and then all of a sudden we just kind of stifled and they literally gave back half the move already. So it is going to be interesting how this thing pans out today. Again, I'm not going to be willing to put anything. I think anything on the charts right now is meaningless. And that's just my opinion. And that's how I'm trading it. I am not going to be out to do much of anything. I'll be lucky if I do any trades at all today. I kind of believe I'll most likely be sitting on my hands most of the day today. I mean, unless something completely stares me in the face, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going for it. But again, it's probably going to be something small, and I'm going to be looking for a quick hit, and I'm going to be looking to get out because you can't trade these types of things and can't think that, oh, your indicators, throw them out the window, man. I've been doing this long enough to realize that when you have this kind of volatility going on, all your indicators and all that other, anything that you're using that you think is an edge, throw it out the fucking window because it means absolutely nothing at this point. It means absolutely nothing. So that's kind of where we're at. And that's how I'm trading it. I'm going to look at gold. Gold had a really nice. Gold was getting absolutely trashed this morning. I want to say at one point I saw it down 300 and something. We got down as far, and I believe that's right. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but that candle, let me look at that candle there. We got down pretty damn low. The lows on that candle were literally, that can't be right, 4,100 to the nose. So we actually touched 4,100. Yeah, that's what it says, 4,100. Wow. And that's a far cry from my kind of line in the sand here was 44s, 4,400s. We touched 4,100. Now we're just barely trading over that. This line goes back all the way. This is from a while ago. This is from back in February 26th to be exact. All right. And I kind of drew that as a line in the sand as possibly a short-term bottom. Now, it's not turning out to be that. Right now, this obviously is. I'm going to have to look back now. Let's dial back a little bit because you kind of have to. Wow, we touched levels that go back as far as, wow. Let me just stick a line in here just to kind of give it some... all the way back, well, we initially touched them back in November of 25. So we've given back literally 1,200 points plus, 1,400 points plus in gold. Is this the bottom? I honestly don't know. But that's where we're at as far as levels. And quite honestly, it's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at on gold. That's going to be a tough trade as well. I'm not going to deny that. Look, it already broke my line. I did not have anything else on my bingo card in here. I have 42s. I did not have those lows. I did not have these, and obviously neither did anybody else. But like I said, this morning, gold was getting absolutely it was just a mad dash for the exits on gold. And then this article came out too. I saw this, and I had something. They were talking about liquidity fears and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yeah. Apparently, they were saying that it's a possibility that some countries had to generate some liquidity from the war and all this business, so they were selling their gold and. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, how the fuck do you know? I mean, seriously? And if that's the case, are you really? Why are you telling us? You know what I mean? You're not. If that was really what was going on, you're not going to fucking tell us. You know what I mean? That story got out there because someone wanted that story to get out there. I think they wanted to give it. I think there's a little more going on than what we're being led to believe. But again, I don't know either. So, But it just seemed kind of suspect that it was like, oh, liquidity, people are liquidating their gold. I'm like, are they though? Are they? So I don't know. So anyway, gold's going to be a rough trade, and I see we're starting to give back a decent amount here from the initial run, and then crude actually bounced pretty decently back up at 92. So we're going to be watching this. I don't think there's any trade here. I think gold is going to continue to have pressure, not just because of liquidity and all this other stuff. It really has to do with interest rates and the Federal Reserve, right? They're talking about not doing any cuts. And so what does that mean? It means that no cuts, that no easy money. Inflation is going to be something they're looking to nip in the butt. And so guess what? Gold prices don't normally do good in that type of environment. So I think that's really what it is. And what else? That's really it. As far as you've got to watch the news today. There's no. That's why I'm like, I almost didn't want to come on today because there's no analysis. There's no analysis. What are you analyzing? I watched 2 different programs this morning for about 30 to 40 seconds apiece, and they're going over and they're like, my indicator and this, and it's like, dude, shut up. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Just be honest with people. If you don't have anything to fucking say, just say, and you don't. There's nobody who has anything to say today. I'm sorry to break it to you. And I know the 1,000 people who are subscribed to me. I know they appreciate when because I'm honest. There is nothing you're watching today other than fucking oil. You're watching oil, and if oil goes down, stocks are going to go up. And if oil goes up, stocks are going to go down. That's it. And you're going to be watching the headlines. That's it. That's your indicator. Enough said. Next. So, next. I'm off to the next. So, that's it. So, one thing I wanted to say, too, is that Top Step has this promotion going on till the end of the month. And I'm not a paid affiliate. I don't get, me, I don't affiliate with anybody. I'm just letting you know that it's out there. But it's not on just a regular combine. You have to do the, I think, no activation fee combine. So if you just do a regular combine with the activation fee, it's not going to work. Because I know I tried. It's only the combine without the activation fees that you get the $26 off on the on the 50K, and it's $26 off. It's worth it if you're looking to do something like this. And so I was just letting you know. And I will give you an assessment of this. I'm happy. I'm overall happy with, Top Step at this point and how things have progressed. The one thing that I wish that you could do, and I think I've said this before, I wish you could get off of this, though. I wish you had another alternative besides Top Step X. I think that's a big problem right now with this. And which is why I have decided I was going to do another combine. I was going to do 5 here and stack 5 combines and to stack 5, but I'm not anymore. I'm actually starting to look at other funding sources only because I can use my own software at the other places, at many of the other places still. I know they made a business decision to go this way and marry up with TradingView. That was their choice. They decided to do. They thought that was the best model for them, and that's fine. And overall, I don't really have a problem with this. I mean, it's okay. But when I'm using this, basically what I'm doing, folks, when I use their platform, I'm doing this. So if I'm trading the Qs, I'm using this. This is what I use when I trade the Qs. And I basically keep this on my main screen, and I use TradingView's real actual charts that I can have my own shit on. And I actually put their DOM over here on the side that you can't see. And so I trade in there, but I use TradingView's real-time charts. Because their charts suck. I'm not going to lie. I mean, again, they're okay, but I have literally, I like to watch order flow. I have my, they don't even have fucking pivots on it. So they don't even have pivots, which I don't even understand why. And their selection of indicators are terrible. They're all the old standard bullshit ones that everyone has. MACD, RSI, Williams percent R, Fisher transform, and all that fucking bullshit that's been around for, back in the day, guys, you know what I mean? And it's like, that is kind of a big problem. Again, I'm not saying it's horrible. But I am saying that it's not as robust as the full-blown TradingView configuration. So I'm just letting you be aware of that, so that if you do try and you're like, and you say like, oh, wow, they have TradingView charts. Yeah, they do, but it's their own version or whatever they've licensed from TradingView charts. So, so just be aware of that. I don't want to bash them. I mean, they made a business decision and that's what they decided to do. And I went with them. So that's, my fault if I'm unhappy, because I could, leave. But this is how I've dealt with it. I just use regular TradingView charts here, and then I just use and trade in their DOM over here, and I don't even use their charts. So there you have it. All right, and so that's it. That's all I got. I'm not going to go into any detail on anything else. There really isn't much else to talk about. As far as movers on stocks this morning, I would assume everything under the sun is probably gapping up, other than maybe like some of the stuff that's been gapping up, but I'm sure everything's somewhat up today, especially the bigger players, because you see the NASDAQ up 400 or 500 points. So no shocker there. Again, what we have to be concerned about right now, is this sustainable? Is it sustainable? And is it sustained? That's kind of the thing. All right, and that is that. And we are in the red year to date. Yes, we are. We are in the red year to date. So that is going to be interesting. We're going to have to see if we can pull ourselves out of the hole on that. And that'll be that. So have a good trading day. I wish I had more. I wish I would have came on last night, but I just really didn't. I wasn't in the mood, honestly. It was Sunday night. I had a great weekend. The weather was great here. I was outside all day. I was beat. And I just said, you know what? That it. I don't give a shit. Right? I don't care. I'm staying. I don't feel like doing this. So anyway, that's that. Trade them tight.